This is Solagbade. I call myself a location independent performance improvement specialist and multipreneur. I'm doing this audio recording as a public service to help self-marketing professionals in particular and business owners in general, regardless of where you may be in the world, think through the process of having an online website, online presence developed for them. I decided to do this recording to offer my own experience-based insights because I think there is this overflogging of certain so-called standard approaches to developing websites and other online marketing platforms for business promotion. Personally, I have found out that for virtually every individual, regardless of the field you are in, your experiences in terms of what you need to do to develop an effective online presence will be different, and therefore the professional you have to work with must be somebody who is flexible minded, understands that he or she has to look at your project as a unique opportunity, a unique brand that he's going to have to think of something new and different for, based on a needs analysis he or she will conduct. In other words, he or she will have to dig deep to identify what sets you apart from whoever your competitors are and what makes you a relevant solution provider to the market you serve, and then based on that come up with whatever design and whatever content marketing strategy he or she will develop and implement for you. So without wasting much time, I'm just going to go straight to the meat of the matter. I believe strongly that if you want to build, call it a website, I call it a web marketing system or an effective online presence. That's what it's about. Your purpose is to use the web as cost effectively as possible to attract and, as much as possible, as frequently as possible, convert potential clients into paying customers or buyers. Now, how do you do that? Most of the people who often have to look for this kind of solution are people who don't even have any technical expertise. They're not tech savvy, and so they find themselves having to depend on experts. And these experts, sometimes I have seen, they tend to be more technically focused and have much less interest than they should in understanding what the person's business really is about and how technology can be intelligently and cost effectively used to help the person achieve his or her marketing goal. So how do you choose? How do you make up your mind? How do you decide on how to set up this website or web presence of yours? As again, I refer you to what I will call an effective online presence, which is a combination of different online platforms that will work to help you attract the kind of people you need to pay you for the service you offer or the solution you offer. I have 5 specific questions that you have to ask yourself that will help you decide who to choose to work with as an expert to help you with this, and how you will guide the person to do what you want, that you know is going to be the best thing for you. The first thing you have to ask yourself, what is it that you sell? Because 9 times out of 10, as a professional, a self-marketing professional or a business owner, there's something you want people to buy from you. The thing is, what you are looking for people to buy or hoping people will buy is may be different from what the next man may be selling. So how so in other words, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I'm selling? Because what you are selling will determine how your website should be designed, how your website content should be, the strategy for your web content marketing should be done, and how you are going to implement any other aspects of your the promotion of your business online using that instrument when it's eventually set up. So the question is, what is it that you sell? I'll give you 2 examples to illustrate what I mean, why this is an important question. If you sell a service where, for instance, you are a speaker and a business coach, that is different from the guy who is selling, for instance, cakes. In other words, a person who has a website designed to make people say, okay, hey, I'm going to have my wedding in 2 months time. I would like you to show me what you can do. I would like you to bake a cake, special one that's going to blow everybody's minds, and can you show me why I should choose you as against choosing XYZ business next door to you or next door online, figuratively speaking. So the guy selling the product will often have to have a different approach to setting up an online presence compared to the guy selling a service like coaching or speaking. Okay, so the features that will make the website for a guy who is a lady, a professional who is selling a service like public speaking or business coaching or marketing consulting will be different from what the person who has to sell something like cakes, drinks, and whatever else, all the tangible things, products that somebody has to deliver to a paying customer. Now, your websites, the considerations for those two websites will be totally different. It is now up to you to identify an expert that will be sensitive to the need to distinguish between you and somebody that's doing something different from yours, and therefore know how to set up a website that serves you best in terms of attracting the right people to you. So your consideration has to include that. What is it that I sell? Because what you sell will determine the design of your website and what you'll be saying on that website. Who are you selling to? Okay, we talked about what you're selling. You're selling a coaching service and all of that. Okay, but public speakers, for instance, the person who's a speaker, there are different target audiences public speakers serve. There are public speakers who serve people in the educational industry. There are public speakers who serve the manufacturing and corporate organizations. I mean, so many different markets. And believe me, what I have found is that the different markets will require different approaches. But having said that, public speaking generally, your audience are people who want your knowledge product. They want to learn from your expertise. Okay? And so you have a situation where there is a way you have to present yourself that helps such people, the decision makers in such groups and organizations, to identify that you will be a good choice for them as far as a keynote speaker, for instance, is concerned, or a business coach, the person who needs help to develop his or her brand and needs business coaching, okay, or mentoring from you. You need to have a way to let him or her know that you will be a good choice. Okay, and that's why you need to know who you're selling to. Who is your ideal target audience? Do you have a description in mind? Do you have a knowledge of the psychographics? That is, what kind of mental attitude do they have? How do they think? What are their interests? You understand their psychology. I'll give you an example again. I'll give you two examples. Let me give you an example about in terms of the who you're trying to sell to. I'll give you an example. I talk with my clients all the time. I sell to audiences within and outside Africa using my online presence, my effective online presence. I sell to them within and outside the continent of Africa. Now, it's taken me over 10 years to learn that the mental attitude of the African, the people in my African market is completely different from that of the people who are in Europe, America, Asia, and the likes. In other words, outside Africa. It was a painful journey of learning for me. Eventually I learned it the hard way, and I've learned to take that into consideration in my online marketing. So in setting up my online the design of my online presence, effective online presence, what I have learned to do is not to take so seriously all the factors that people in Europe and America will take when they begin to talk about how your homepage should be, where you should put this and all of that. I have found out that the response, the attitude, the mental attitude of the people in my part of the world, who are my private target audience, for instance, for my farm business solutions, is completely different. Their perception of value and their instincts are completely different when they're online to the man in Europe and America. Why? One good reason is the fact that the average person in Europe and America probably pays little or nothing for access to the internet, and so they are not, at least in terms of being click happy, they're not click happy from the perspective of people who are under pressure because they don't want to spend too much money being online. So you want to sell to the American, for instance, it's okay to go with videos because they're going to sit down and watch your videos. You want to sell to an African and you're putting videos in everything, well, if you're in the entertainment industry, maybe that will work for you. But if you are you're serving a market of people who are business owners, who are running businesses where they're looking for solutions to serve their business, and they're probably buying private connections that are cutting huge chunks out of their budgets in terms of paying for monthly internet connections. They are not going to sit around watching videos all the time from you if you don't find a way to communicate to them in with other channels, other platforms, like for instance using PDFs, using text, or offering them audio versions they can download and things like that. You are going to struggle to sell to that group. Now this is based on real life experience I've had. Yes, my videos do sell for me, I'll give you that, but I make sure my videos are short. Average duration for most of my videos that I do as demonstration tutorials for software I sell to the African market in particular is about 3 to 5 minutes. But you have to, and then I don't do webinars. Most people in my part of the world, Africa, will not be able to respond well to webinars because add value to them in some form that will help them to feel that it's worthwhile. So in other words, who you're selling to is important. If you don't understand who you're selling to, the things you will put on your website will not enable you to connect as effectively as you should be able to with them. Okay. Now, if you are in the unique group or unique position where you want to sell to both African and international, non-African or people in outside Africa, audiences in outside Africa, you find yourself in that unique position, then you're going to have to strike a balance between the things I've said now. Okay, you're going to have to provide for both groups. Okay, and that is where again the person you choose to handle this kind of project, setting up an online presence for you, is important. You have to be able to guide that person to understand that these two target audiences you are looking at, reaching out to, have different buying behaviors, and therefore whatever is put on the website in terms of design and content must cater for those two groups. I can't elaborate much more on that. If you'd like to get across to me on this in terms of getting details, go to my website tayosolagade.com and send me a message using the contact form. You can also send me an email via tayo@tksole.com, tayo@tksole.com.